Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm joined by Charlie Lamdin, who is the founder of BestAgent. Charlie, why should estate agents care about BestAgent? Talk to me.
Thank you, Chris. Hi. Why should estate agents care about BestAgent? Some will like it, some will not like it, some will be indifferent to it, but why should they care about it? Why every estate agent should care about BestAgent is because it is the first and only offering to agents that will give every single agent in a town or a postcode area an opportunity to introduce themselves to the vendor of every single property that comes to market through BestAgent, through the Find Your Agent service that we offer consumers on BestAgent.
So, BestAgent is a portal which gives the facility for estate agents to capture vendor leads and drive it and give them the opportunity to pitch. Is that it in a nutshell?
No, you've sort of slightly, let me rephrase it. I mean, you're roughly right, but wrong enough. I need to rephrase it.
Yeah.
So it's a property website, yes, where consumers can go and find a new home to buy or to rent. We list 100% of the publicly listed properties for sale and to let in the UK. And we will send applicant lead to any agent, whether they're registered with us or not, and they can choose to ignore them, or if they want to buy them, the price is in the lead and it's a click to buy. There's no subscription or sign up necessary. They can just wait until they get a lead they want and say, oh, that's a sales lead for £4. I'll buy that because I want to do a viewing on that property. So that's on the finding a home side. On the find your agent side, it's not about capturing leads, because in fact, we don't release the vendor's contact information to those agents until the vendor chooses which ones they want to invite round for evaluation. So we're offering the consumer a service where they can say, hey, I'm selling my house, without being mobbed by every agent in the town who now knows that they're coming to market with emails, letters, phone calls, leaflets, and door knocking. They don't want that. I mean, if you're a seller trying to sell your house, it's a terrifying prospect, because you know the moment you go, can I sell my house? You're just going to get absolutely swamped. Well, that's not true, actually. A lot of agents just completely ignore those ones too. But we ignore what kind of agent an agent is. If an agent's office location is within the 20 closest agents to that vendor's home, geographically to that home, they will get invited to introduce themselves by video. And that's a choice. They can either record a video message and send it, or they can have a live video call, like Zoom, but it's built into BestAgent, at a time that the vendor wants to. So if the vendor says, I'd like to chat to that agent gets a message instantly. They do need to register with us for that to happen, saying, there's a vendor who wants to talk to you now. You click with one click, even on a mobile device, they can be having a video call right there through BestAgent. So it's a bit like a virtual high street, where a vendor could get to walk in and actually meet in person the individual that they've been instructing. Because, brand A, B, C might have offices all over the country, but their branch managers are different in every branch. And if you're a vendor, what matters is not the colours above the door, but looking the person in the eye who says they're going to sell your house.
So it is a normal portal which you won't charge estate agents for.
Correct.
Not that we need another portal in the industry. There's plenty of them.
The consumer needs something new. Definitely.
Okay, we'll come on back to the consumer in a second. And I know they're important because we are in a service industry. If someone wishes to view a property and they press a button, there is a small charge for that.
No.
If someone wants just to view a property.
If they want to view a property and they submit the viewing request to the agent, and that goes, by the way, as I'd like to view that property at that time, the agent can choose to decline it and there's no cost. If the agent chooses to accept that viewing and say, yes, I'll show you that property, then there's a cost per lead. And the cost of the lead relates to the price of the property, and is the same for all agents of any kind of size.
Okay.
So
a lot of agents would say, well, we don't need more viewings at the moment, but who knows, the market might change and we still want more viewings. At the moment, we're in a market where listings is king, not selling houses is king. Any agent with a pulse can sell a house at the moment. But let's come back to the vendor leads.
Sorry, can I just challenge you on that? You're right, a lot of stuff's selling, but there are properties that aren't selling.
Fair goes. Okay.
And for those ones, they might want a viewing. And that's the whole reason we only charge per viewing.
Okay, I'll give you that. I mean, I looked at 100 locations couple of months ago, and 19.8% of houses have been on the market for more than 5 months. So, okay, I'll give you that. But my audience watching this are vast majority estate agents, and at the moment, listings is everything. It is your intention to basically, because at the moment you have the portals, the likes of your Rightmoves and Zooplas, where you pay money to them, and the person at night, quite often it's at night at 10 o'clock on a Friday night and a Saturday night. I'm sure it's purely coincidental that it's always 10 o'clock on a Friday and Saturday night, nothing to do with the fact they've been to Nando's and had a few lager shandies. But I press the button, I want a valuation, and then the 4 valuations come out, and an estate agents say that's a complete and utter waste of time. What you're saying is this, is that with BestAgent, there is a facility for them to press a button and say, kind of what I would describe as an X factor of estate agents. You kind of are given an opportunity, either it live or recorded, to almost sing for your supper and say how wonderful you are.
Yeah.
And how long would that video last?
That initial introduction is limited to 45 seconds if they want to record it. If they want to have a live call with the vendor, there's no limit.
If it is, let's just say the message comes through saying I want a live, and let's just say it's a one-man band or one-woman band and they're on an appointment, can the agent ask to defer that live call to another time?
Absolutely.
And there's a facility to say, I'm not talking now, but can we do another time?
You treat it the same as if someone was walking off the street to discuss selling the house with you.
The live call sounds particularly interesting, because at this moment in time, you're not actually giving the address away, but then the estate agent could try and persuade to get that information out of the person.
So what we find is that most consumers, talking to any businesses, don't love to just freely give their contact information away until they've actually decided they'd like to progress things further with you. Of course, it's up to them if they do give that away on the call, and that's fine if that's what happens.
So let's just say I'm Mrs. Miggins, and I live on 4 Acacia Avenue, Golders Green. I press the button. The email goes out to the 20 nearest estate agents geographically to my property. The agent will then receive an email and saying you can either, and if it's a live one, they can either bounce it off, or if it's a recorded one, give you a record. And can they just pick their phone up and go, or
yes,
yeah?
They just have to allow the camera and the microphone permission. That's the only thing they have to do.
Okay, so
it works in browser.
So the email could come through on their phone, press a button. Hi, my name's Chris Watkin from Chris Watkin Estate Agents. I'm brilliant. 45 seconds isn't that long, is it?
No, that's the recorded one. No, because if you're going to be getting 10 responses, you don't want them to be 3 minutes each.
So it is kind of like the X factor of estate agents, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that, yeah.
So why is it important that every single estate agent be given a level playing field?
That's an amazing question. If you're selling your house, and the price you're going to achieve for your house and the time that you're going to sell it in determines whether or not you can move into the next house, the next rung on the ladder of your life, then you don't just need to find an estate agent. You need to find the individual estate agent that's going to get you the best result in the shortest time. And if you don't find that agent, you may not get into your new house. So what I say is, your choice of agent as a seller will change your life. You choose agent A or do a sliding doors and change agent B, your life will literally do that. You'll be living somewhere else. You get a different price for the house. So the only way to be sure that you've considered all the options is to give all the agents an opportunity to introduce themselves. Because if you are selling and you don't know where to start, and especially first-time sellers don't know which agent to call first. Some agents think that they do, but they really don't. Then this is an easy way, without divulging your contact details until you're ready, to say, hello, local agents, all of you, I'm coming to the market. I'm inviting you to contact me for a pre-valuation conversation, face-to-face on video, so I can then decide who to invite for an valuation.
So basically what you're trying to say is that if everyone knew how to choose the best agent for them personally, it would change their lives.
It would change everything. It would change the industry completely. It would totally dismantle the current power structure in the industry. And let me define what I mean by the current power structure in the industry. So the data that we've got, which is every property in the country, every postcode in the country, every agent's instructions, we can see that in almost all postcodes, the top 10% of agents, and it doesn't matter whether there are 200 agents listing, as in, for example, SWF in London, I think there's 240 agents listing properties in that one postcode. If you're selling, where do you start with 240 agents? Or whether you're in a remote place where there are only 7 agents. The top 10% of agents tend to have more than 50% of the market, right? And the other 90% of agents, so I think on average it's like 40 agents. In reality, it's more in cities and less in the country, right? So where you've got 40 agents, it means the top 4 agents have 50% of the market, and the other 36 agents share 50% of the market. Roughly speaking, it's a 10 times difference. So that's a power structure where people with big, powerful marketing budgets. So I did a video of this on the Best Agent vlog where I said, why is it the best agents are the worst self-promoters? And normally it's because individuals running a small business who are really good and passionate about getting their clients a great deal simply don't have the time it takes to carry out an ongoing, consistent marketing campaign.
Well, it's interesting. I did some research in London. In 2018, the top 10 estate agents had 18% of the market, and now it is risen up to 32%.
Yeah, it's staggering, isn't it? And I bet there's a lot more than 100 agents in that total, right?
Oh, when I stripped out because you've got one branch, multiple branches, so if I stripped it back down to one agent, there was over 2,000 in
right. And the top 10 have got 30% of the market.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't serve the consumer, right? If you are someone bringing a house to the market, the only agents you're aware of, because they've got the big marketing clout, are those top 10%. And so there are great agents who are probably hungrier for your business than those big ones are, who never even get to know you coming to the market.
So what are you basically saying, that this portal stroke business generation tool that you call Best Agent is leveling the playing field for the one man and one woman band estate agent?
Even better than that, it's leveling the playing field for all the individual agents wherever they work to get the business they deserve. So if you are the branch manager of a big corporate and you're a really community-minded, caring professional, and as a human being, you're better than some of the other local independents, you will rise. You will get more business because of who you are as a person, not because of your brand. But typically speaking,
how does that work? Sorry, because
how this works? Because when that branch manager of that corporate sends his video or her video introducing you, say, "Hi, my name's Charlie, and I'm the manager of so and so," you don't care where he works, but that person, you're like, I like that person. I like them more than the other people. I'm going to invite him around. So the individual in that big corporation, which may not be a good or bad corporation, will rise in his local market or her local market.
Because you said that you have this also on the website, something called bestagent.me,
yes,
which is where, and again, the way you described to me before we started this was, it's almost a Google review, but not on the agency, but on the agent, and it follows them round. So just like all agents, you can refer to someone. You know, you can give marks out of 10 for an agent. You can also give marks out of 10 or 5 stars to a person. What's all that about, and how will that help estate agents, individual estate agents, in the long run?
Look how well individual ratings for every single trip or stay on Uber and Airbnb have done for the hosts and guests, the drivers and riders. Okay, it allows both people on both sides to build up a reputation.
Problem is when you move from one firm to another, you lose that.
Correct, currently. But this is the whole point. So bestagent.me allows each individual agent to create their own profile on Best Agent, which is used wherever they're working. But if they were to leave that agency and go somewhere else, they get to retain whatever the feedback scores they've had in that period of that one agency, and use it in their next agency.
Well, that's great, because to be honest, there's a small, but it's a growing trickle for people moving into self-employed estate agents. At least you can take that through with you. That's great. But let's come back to the main point here, which is the X factor of estate agents. How are you going to get vendors to the website to click that button saying, "Give me," because that's the only way that you're going to get people's estate agents' attention, is when they've got leads in front of them.
That's definitely my biggest challenge, and And that's why I don't want to waste any agent's time saying, do anything with us before I've sent them a lead. Because all agents are bombarded daily by new offerings, and I want to respect their time. That's why we haven't bothered them. The whole process of getting all the listings up hasn't cost any agent a penny or any of their time. The listings are just there. And how are we going to get the vendors? Well, that opens up a whole other discussion, which is on how we're going to be using homelessness as our marketing strategy. Before we go there, may I just answer one more point that you asked me a question I didn't actually get to answer. The people in the pub on a Friday night, 10 o'clock, sending through a crap lead. So before we allow a potential seller to send out a thing saying, I'm selling my house, they have to jump through a few hoops, which they probably couldn't do if they'd had too many shandies. And they have to divulge quite a lot of information to us. And when that lead comes through to the agent, it isn't just, here's a lead. It's, here's the owner of this 4-bedroom semi with a garden in RH2 who would like to bring their house to the market within the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks. So we give as much information as we can about that property and that person's circumstances right up front, so that the agent can decide whether to ignore it or not. And I totally understand why a lot of them do.
And when the lead comes through, do they have to pay anything to send the video?
They don't even have to pay if they get invited for evaluation. They only pay if they get instructed. So getting the lead costs nothing. Responding to the lead, having the video call, costs nothing. Being invited to the valuation costs nothing. If they're instructed, that's the point at which they pay.
And there are other lead generation websites whereby they have a reputation within certain sectors of the industry that they try and pull the wool over the eyes of agents. And, what if the agent's already been to that valuation before?
Then I would suspect the vendor wouldn't invite them round for evaluation.
True.
Number one. There are some scenarios that we may not have figured out yet, Chris.
Okay.
And those would be nice problems to have.
Okay. And when they instruct, what will it cost them?
20 quid per £100,000 of asking price. So for our £250,000 property, 50 quid.
50 quid?
For instruction.
For an instruction? It's not bad. So basically what you're selling are, for the average UK house, which is around £300,000, you're selling listings for about 60 quid.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
You see, I have seen in my 20 years of serving agents how hard they work and how much time they invest trying to get valuation.
So they don't have to pay you anything.
No.
They don't have to pay you to do a video. They don't have to pay you to go on the free val. And all they have to do is basically, if they instruct you, pay you 20 quid per 100 grand of listing price fee.
Yes. Yes.
So the biggest issue is, A, how do you get people to get to your website? Mm-hmm. But that's not their fault. That's not their problem. That's your problem. Yeah. And the second thing that they need to do is that when it does come through, they need to know that it's absolutely genuine and that you're not a shyster. But you're here today.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that you'll probably put some kind of link to a form of this video at the bottom of the email. So when it comes through saying, there you go, that's a great idea for you. If you think this is a con, listen to the video.
Absolutely. Yes.
You can even use my name in there if you want to.
Thank you
for
very
the price of a 568 millilitres of beer. How's that? Is that a fair deal?
That sounds like about a pint, doesn't it, Chris?
It certainly is. That's my favourite number, 568.
That sounds like a great deal.
So, okay, joking aside,
There's one more important point I'd like to add on to the X factor, if I may. Some agents, we've already been doing this, it's already been working. Some agents have been saying, I don't want to pay on instruction, I only want to pay you if I sell. Now, that is a deliberate choice we've made that we're not going down that route, because the problem facing the British public, as per the Jeffreys report that studied the whole market for 12 months, is that on average, you only have a 48% chance of selling when you instruct your first agent. That's not okay if you are a seller. And first-time sellers are unaware of that. We don't want an agent that we've sent a lead to to take an instruction on unless they think they're going to sell it. If you don't think you're going to sell it, please turn down that instruction and let them instruct someone who will sell their property. Because what they don't need is the time wasted while you see if you can sell it.
Let's be honest, Charlie, they all waste too much money on crap marketing anyway.
They do. And so 50 or 60 quid for an instruction, if they don't think that's good value, then don't take the instruction.
Well, or you could give £2,000 a month to Rightmove and just put your 20 quid notes in this redder, eh?
You see, this is where this.
Oh, I do like Rightmove, by the way, but some of the extras, I'm not.
Every other industry in the world, no one pays high subscription fees anymore. You only pay when you get value. That's our whole business model. We don't expect an estate agent to pay us for anything that they don't want.
But again, let's be honest, there's a lot of estate agency chains that pay their listers on listing, so you might as well pay you for it and actually get it. So come on, let's come back. How are you going to get people clicking on that button? Vendors, punteras.
The tens of millions of pounds a year currently spent on marketing by all of the large portals is not a road I want to go down competing with them on. I don't want to go down spending millions of pounds.
Oh, come on, you want a TV advert, Chaz and Dave song, that'll work a treat, won't it?
I don't think it's good value for money. And the point is remember, it's not the portals' money they're spending the agents' money that paid them with their subscriptions, right? The only reason that the portals are able to waste that much money on TV campaigns is because they've got the agents' money. So it's agents' money paying for those TV campaigns. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but we could have Chaz and Dave singing Rabbit, Rabbit, Rabbit. Brilliant. That'd be great.
And if other people want to use agents' money to pay for that, that's great. I don't think agents want their money being used for that kind of stuff. Okay? This is where I choose to combine what's been my profession for the last 20 years with what's been a passion of mine for a long time, which is to figure out, surely in a country like ours, there must be a way that we can find to get everybody into a home. There's somewhere between 250,000 and 300,000 statutory homeless people in temporary accommodation and rising as we come out of the pandemic. There's somewhere between, the figures vary, but thousands of people a night sleeping rough on the streets. And yet we live in one of the richest, most powerful G7 countries in the world. And government and charities are doing extraordinary amounts and actually provide a huge amount of relief. But with the councils that we've spoken to, what they say is that they have a shortage of property for the people in temporary accommodation, which is why they're in bed and breakfasts. Now, there are 650,000, according to government figures, empty properties. Now, for a lot of those, there's legitimate reasons, right? But there's a lot of those that could be used for housing and aren't being used. So in my mind, if you've got 3 times more empty properties than you've got homeless people, there's probably a solution here. So rather than say one day if we succeed, we might try and help homelessness, because that's, I think it's just cheap talk. When it comes to how do we get vendors to come to BestAgent, how do we get buyers and tenants to come to BestAgent and put their leads in?
Because that's the killer,
yeah,
isn't it?
Absolutely right, yeah. What do consumers care about? Do they care about people's marketing the other day? Do they care about people that they know who are at the risk of homelessness? Yes, they do, deeply. And I think the British public, and in fact, I'm prepared to gamble my career that the British public cares about homelessness. And if there's a way that they know they can influence bringing it to an end, they'd like to. So instead of spending money on any marketing, we're going to take that money and use it to provide rent guarantees to people who are at risk of homelessness to help them get into the private rented sector. Now, that's not even spending money, that's risking money. Yes, if they default,
your money.
Yes, my money.
But basically what you're going to do is you're going to use the emotional route, pluck up people's heartstrings, not estate agents, because let's be honest, probably an awful lot of estate agents, I'm making an assumption here, don't care about homelessness. I'm sure that a lot of people
do.
Okay, but you're planning to work on pluck the heartstrings of the UK homeowner population to say, here is a portal where that every house is listed on it, and also if you use this portal, you will be helping homeless people as well.
Exactly right.
And you are of the opinion that the press and local press will pick up on that.
It's more than an opinion. We know we've already had interest in it. So
it can't be a flash in the pan.
No. This is a long-term marketing strategy. And as far as I'm concerned, money spent on marketing is money set far up in smoke, gone. Whether it works for you or not, it's just gone.
So basically, it's going to be agents will help that you've got to become the best storyteller in Britain, constantly telling about the stories of how how Best Agent has helped take people off the street, sofa surfing, and made a difference to their lives by telling stories, because that's the way you get inside humans' heads, is the power of story. And from that, they will be naturally attracted to Best Agent,
Hopefully.
all being well. And from then, again, agents haven't spent any money yet. That is when the vendors start hitting that, I want to sell my house. And that's how estate agents will get more leads. And then it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Hopefully. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So there's no wastage anywhere there.
It's going to be hard work for you, isn't it?
It already is very, very hard work. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. But also, this is something that I'm okay if it fails, right? If I spend my career trying to do this but fail, I give it my best shot, and I'm okay with that. But I don't think it will.
Well, I tell you what I'd like to do is, why don't we actually bring in a real life estate agent for the last 5 minutes? You know him, and I know him, and most of the bloody world knows about him, because let's be honest, he's on bloody social media more than I am and you are put together. So we'll ask Murray Lee,
The godfather
of estate agency, to come in. So let's have a look at him. On you come, Murray.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon, Murray.
Nice to meet you in the flesh.
It's a pleasure. The pleasure's all yours.
Thank you.
Murray, you're a very well-known estate agent. You are on social media more than me, which, let's be honest, is we nearly, if we put us together, we'd be more than somewhere, which, let's be honest, is scary. But let's not talk about him too much. Although I see you're wearing the company, there you get the colours there. Why have you become interested in Best Agent?
I think it sums me up as a whole. I've known Charlie a very, very long time. We go back 20 odd years or more, I think, like that. And I've seen Charlie grow in what he's done. I've been part of his original CRM Easy Match, and I followed that as well. He came to me a year or so ago when this first started coming out, and I like the concept. At that stage, I didn't know about the homeless thing, and I think that's added to it. I consider I'm the best agent in my area, and a lot of people that come to me do, but not everybody knows about me. My area is a little bit different to many, being quite a confined area, but there are plenty of agents fighting the cause. And if I can get my vision, my capabilities out there like this on video, I think they'd come to me every time. And when Charlie ran that bit by me, I was taken straight away.
Because, you're a proverbial one-man band estate agent. How do you feel when you're constantly being under pressure from the big boys in London?
When you have my time and experience in the business, I don't feel that pressure at all. I can't speak for other independents. I know a lot of them, and I know the way they work, and a lot of them work the way I do, which then complements Best Agent. We have some of the big names in our area. I'm not going to give them free advertising, but you know them as well as I do, and I don't see them as competition. Some of them I work in tandem with, which is very rare in our business, but the bigger guys and the ones that have arrived recently haven't damaged my personal reputation or capability to act as a one-man band, as you call it. And Best Agent will give other people like me the same opportunity to sell their wares, if you like, to the public.
But of course, the biggest issue you have as a one-man band is that you only have a certain amount of budget, and it's all about getting your name out there and creating a level playing field. Do you feel that Best Agent will give you that?
Definitely. You mentioned some of the portals before and the amount that they charge, and that's another conversation for another day. I can't afford to spend what some of the bigger guys spend, the £2,000 a month that you mentioned, for all the bells and whistles. Which
don't worry, the big ones, they're on much cheaper than that.
Yeah, we know that. Yes, yeah, we know that. But on paper, that's what the smaller guys like me have to spend, and I can take you across the road to one of my very local friendly competitors because I know that's what he's paying.
Yeah, a couple of grand a month.
Absolutely, for all the bells and whistles. It doesn't get him any more than the basic package that I have, as far as I'm aware, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct. This way, he'll have the advantage on a level playing field to sell his wares. I'm sorry to keep saying it like that, but that's what we're doing here to the public. You called it a virtual high street. As you know, I'm still a high street agent, and I like people to come through my doors. It's a way to get me through their doors.
Okay, but there's an awful lot of agents out there who are going to be scared of the proverbial camera. What would your message be to those people?
Don't be. Okay, you can't all be like me. I've got a big mouth and I know where to use it.
I think the word media whores.
That's one, yes. I was hoping you weren't going to bring that up, but there you go.
Okay.
I do all that myself, by the way, individually. Some of them have departments that do it. I think I do a better job than most of them. And this is a way.
It's because, you know why? Because your intent is there. You're not
Okay.
trying to sell stuff, you're
No,
giving them.
yes,
You're a giving
yeah,
sort of person.
Yeah, definitely. But I think what you just asked me was this way is a way for these guys to do the media and learn how easy it is, and that's simplifying it a little bit, and they'll need a few practice runs to get it right, to sell their wares, which is what they would be doing sitting in the armchair of Mr. and Mrs. Dawkins.
Okay, so what you're saying is that when you're presented with a valuation lead, you're gonna have to face your fear
And deal with it.
and do it.
Yeah.
You can re-record it as many times as you like until you're happy with it, which is important. And actually, that's an incredibly good exercise in itself. You record yourself giving a 45-second pitch and watch it back. You're going to get better every time you do it before you send it out.
Yeah, remember, always look at the lens, not at yourself. A little tip for you there. Tell me what your message would be to any estate agent who received a best agent lead.
My message to any estate agent receiving a best agent lead is grab it with both hands and run. It's right on your desk. It's there in front of you. You don't have to pay for it until it becomes valuable to you, and if you know that it's got some tangible credibility, you can sell yourself to the person without having to go inside their home, which you still will need to do, but at least you've pitched yourself at that stage and they'll see who they're dealing with. And if you're good enough and you're confident enough, you should win at least the chance to get your foot through the door. Be one of the 3, is it?
It's as many as they want. There's no limits.
Okay, as one of the few who might be invited. Sadly, for them, if they may not be as good as me on the media, sorry to plug that, then they're going to have to learn. And if they can re-record it, that's fine. All of this has been done ad lib so far. We have no script. That's how easy it is.
With the relatively small number that we've had so far, the most common piece of feedback from the vendor was, I've ended up meeting and inviting around an agent that I didn't even know existed. And that's exactly
I don't have
what
that
we
problem.
want to
They all
have.
know I
No,
exist.
you don't, right? But that's been the first thing they've said. They're like, I didn't even, I was just a fantastic person. As soon as I saw their video, I was like, yeah, I'd love to meet that agent. Didn't even know they were there because they don't have a marketing presence. And that's where the power shift comes on.
Murray, thank you very much for your insight
You're
there.
welcome.
Do you mind if I just ask the final question to Charlie?
Not at all.
Charlie, what if Best Agent ends up working?
If Best Agent ends up working, it will totally dismantle the current power structure in the estate agency industry, which only serves a few very large companies and doesn't serve the consumer, which is proven by the fact that the house moving experience is no better now than it was 25 years ago.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Chris.